Hi guys, welcome back. Today I am doing a very quick, well not so quick, Asian version of the Victoria's Secret model look. It is really bronze, so it's really great for really dark or warm toned skins, and since over here in Australia we're approaching spring and summer, it is the perfect look to wear out. I hope you guys like this, and if you want to find out how you can get it, please watch on. So first I want to start by laying down a base. Now I want the center of my forehead and this little triangle area underneath my eyes to be nice and bright, but the rest of the face I want to be kind of dark and tan. So I'm going to start with the YSL Touche Eclat. Here it is. It's the Radiant Touch highlighter, and I'm just going to pump out some of the product and start by highlighting this little triangular area just like this underneath my eyes. I'm also going to put some on the center of my forehead and down the center of my nose, just a little bit on my chin area. I'm also going to highlight my brow bones. And once I have all these areas really lightened up, I'm just going to buff all the product in. And this is just a fluffy blending brush that I'm using. So now that I've done the highlighting, I'm going to go on to the rest of my face. With your skin for this look, you want to keep it really dewy and glowing and really healthy looking. So you can use a tinted moisturizer if you want, or you can go in with a kind of radiant foundation. And I'm going to do that. I'm using the Touche Eclat foundation from YSL. And this is their brand new one. And I'm going to pump some off on the back of my hand, and using a fluffy blending brush, a buffing brush, sorry, I'm going to pick the product up and I'm going to focus on all the dark points of my face. So I'm going to use this basically to contour my face. Don't worry with being too neat at this point. We are going to come back in with another foundation brush and we're going to blend all the product in together. Now for this look, since you're darkening your skin, you want to take it all the way down your neck and onto your ears as well. Just so it doesn't look too weird and everything looks nice and uniform. Next, I'm going to use the Arbonne Cosmetics Perfecting Liquid Foundation, and this is in the color Fair. And I'm only using a tiny bit of this on a stippling brush. And you want to just pat off all the excess foundation onto the back of your hand before you start using it. And now you're going to go over all the parts that you highlighted with the Radiant Touch highlighter pen. Now that that's done, you want to make sure that there's almost no foundation on your stippling brush, and you want to buff both the colors into one another. So around all the edges in between the light color and the darker color that you applied, you want to buff that area in so that there aren't any harsh lines. Just filling in my brows now with the Anastasia Beauty Express kit. You want to follow the natural shape of your brows for this look, and you don't want to make it too perfect looking. Now the key to not making your brows look too polished is to stay away from the upper area of your brows. Keep that looking really nice and natural, so don't draw a really thick straight line around that area. Just kind of brush upwards with your brush if you can see what I'm doing here. I'm going to move on to the eyes now, and I'm starting with a quick base. This is the Proof 10 Etude House Primer. And I'm just going to pop that all over my lid. And as you know with all primers, this is going to help the makeup really stick to the eye, and it will also intensify the eyeshadow colors. I'm going to set down another base for my eyes, this time only in the inner corners and underneath the eyes. This is the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in the color Milk. And I'm just applying it to the inner corners, all the way in, and underneath the lash line, all the way across the eye. Now I'm just patting that NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in Milk all over. I'm just blending it out. Next, I'm taking this brand new eyeshadow. This is from Prestige Cosmetics, and these are their Total Intensity eyeshadows. They will be released on, I think, the 27th of September, so look out for them. I'm using this color Long-Term Relationship, and I am just picking some of it up on this little pencil brush. And I am applying it on top of the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil. I'm also taking it all the way across underneath the eye. And just building up the color as I go. Now I really want to lighten the area inside the eyes a little bit more, so I'm going to be going in with the Urban Decay Vapor eyeshadow, and I'm mixing it in with the Prestige eyeshadow that I just used. And I'm going back in and reapplying that on top of the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil. And I'm not sure if you can see it, but the Urban Decay eyeshadow is really lightening up that color inside the eye. Now on the rest of the lid, I am applying another Prestige Total Intensity eyeshadow, but this one is in the color Crave, and it looks like this. And I'm just applying it with a flat eyeshadow brush. And I'm just packing it onto the lid. This is a beautiful gold tone eyeshadow with a little bit of a yellow undertone. So it is perfect for slightly darker and warmer skin tones. Just blending the color out now with a fluffy eyeshadow brush. Now for the part that only people with Asian or hooded eyelids need to do, I'm going to go in with the color Buck from Urban Decay. It's just this one over here. And I am using a crease blender brush from NP Set. And I'm just putting this color above the crease. So we're going to fake a crease here. And bring it all the way towards the inner corner of the eyes, towards the nose. It's up to you how harsh a line you want to create. A softer line means that the look will be a little bit more natural and less dramatic, and a more defined line makes the look a lot more dramatic. And if you want a really defined cut crease kind of look, then you might want to try and start with an eyeliner that is a nice brown color, and then go over it with a brown eyeshadow. Now I want to smooth out any of the harshness over here using a fluffy blending brush. And I'm just going to go over the outer edges of that eyeshadow that we just applied and just soften it so that everything kind of just blends out into this nice haze. Next, I'm going to deepen this outer corner over here by adding a nice dark brown eyeshadow. I'm going to be using Smog from the Urban Decay palette, which is this color over here. And I am using an angled brush. I'm just going to push it along the outer corners of the eyes. And then I am going to pull it upwards slightly, blending the color into the other eyeshadows. And this is going to give me a very softly defined crease. Next, I am going in with my Hakuhoro eyeliner brush. I want a really nice fine line because I'm only going to line the waterline of the inner corners. So I want something really fine and really thin. And I'm also going to use the Clinique Brush On Cream Liner, and this is in the color True Black. So I'm just going to line the waterline on the inner corners of the eyes. Be sure to get the liner in between the lashes as well. And then I am going to draw a flick following the line that we placed earlier with the angle liner brush. And now when you double back on yourself, you want to draw the liner above the lash line only to about midway across your lid, because the rest of it, remember, you want to keep really fine and really thin. And that's going to really open up your eyes, while still allowing the liner to elongate your eyes and kind of lift it a little. I'm applying some concealer to clean up underneath the eyes a bit. This is the Giorgio Armani High Precision Retouch Concealer, and I am using the number 3. And I'm just going to blend it out with a fluffy blending brush, the same one that I used to buff out the YSL pen earlier. Just applying a quick coat of mascara onto the top lashes now. I'm just using the Covergirl Natureluxe Mousse Mascara. Now I want to apply really thick multiple coats of mascara to the bottom eyelashes because they need to be really defined. And then I'm going to put on some false eyelashes and I'll be right back. So I just applied my false eyelashes and now I'm going to go over the band with my eyeliner brush and my eyeliner to get rid of any of the glue bits that are sticking out. And finally, to finish off the eyes, I'm going to go back with my NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in Milk, and I'm going to line my inner water lines, but only on the lower lash. Moving on to the skin now. First thing I want to do is make the skin glow even more by applying a nice highlighter. This is the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector in the color Opal. I'm pumping some of it off onto the back of my hand, and I'm going to pick it up with a foundation brush. Now I'm just going to apply it to my cheekbones, on the tops of my cheekbones. And be quite liberal with the amount that you apply on the tops of your cheekbones because you want this look to be really shimmery and just really glam. Going onto the brow bone a little bit. And then down the center of my nose. In the center of the forehead. A little bit in the Cupid's bow, also a tiny bit on the top of your chin. If you suffer from oily skin, this is the point where you want to apply some loose powder and just set some of the oil on your T-zone. Stay away from your cheekbones because you want that area to be really nice and luminous. I don't really have that oily skin, so I'm just going to leave it like that, and I'm going to start by applying the bronzer to your face. This is the Physicians Formula bronzer, and it's one of their latest releases, and it is a gorgeous, gorgeous color. This is what it looks like. And I'm just going to pick it up with a contour brush, and I'm going to start contouring. So I'm picking up all 4 colors, and I'm patting it off on the back of my hand first. And I'm just going to slowly build a bit of bronziness underneath the cheekbones. And I'm using buffing motions for this. Now, if you didn't powder your face, you need to be really, really careful and only start building up from very, very, very thin layers of bronzer. Because if you put too thick a layer on, it might start catching on your skin because it's not powdered and a little bit sticky. I'm also going to take it onto my temples. And underneath my jawline. Take it a little bit further down as well. Just blend it with your brush, and this is going to give you a much more natural finish. I want to use a very peachy blush to go with the rest of the look, so I'm going to be choosing the Sisley Phyto-Blush Eclat, and this is in the color Peach. I'm picking it up with the same contour brush that I used for the contours. And I'm just going to pop it onto the cheekbones. So really, really close to the bronzer. And I don't want to take it too high up onto the face. Before I move on, I just wanted to let you know that I added the Urban Decay Vapor eyeshadow just to the tops of my brow bones, just for an extra highlight. And I'm also going to take a really, really small pencil brush and pick up some of the Urban Decay eyeshadow in Vapor and add it to the innermost corners of my eyes. I just want to add a very, very intense highlight there. And now I'm going to move on to the lips. For the lips, they have quite full pouty mouths at Victoria's Secret, so I'm going to be lining the lips first with the number 7 Perfect Lip Pencil, and this is in the color Nude. I'm going to make this shape pretty rounded, and I'm going to draw slightly outside my lip line, and this is going to create a much fuller pout. I'm also coloring in the entire lip. And now that the rough shape is mapped out, I'm going to go over all of that with an Estee Lauder High Gloss. This is in number 8 Coral, and I'm just going to apply it with my clean finger. And that is the finished look. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, please subscribe up above and like down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!